Referee today, Mr. Eddie Ward, over 200 first-grade games. Grand final experience.
Broncos.
And we are underway. Deep kickoff.
It's great hands, isn't it, from Darren Lockyer right from the start.
Right and go, right back.
Webke.
Goal clear.
He's about 15 metres out. Now Wendell Saylor involved early in the action. Martin Locke there for the Cowboys, making the tackle. Thorne. Upended.
Right back the line.
G wants it, gets it. Duneman's the number 7 for the Cowboys. Decoy runner, kicking early. Lockyer with that left boot. Big kick, well taken by Shearer. A former Bronco, and Michael Hancock gets him.
Nowhere to go there. Great chase by Hancock, Walters and Renoff, making sure that Shearer couldn't dash back in field.
Turn and go.
Joining us on the sideline, Russell Fairfax.
Hold it.
Conditions quite warm.
Well, the crowd and the ground are ready for a big one today. Good crowd on hand. I guess there's about 15,000, but conditions, well, they're very kind, the elements. There's a slight breeze running left to right on your screen that favours the Cowboys at this stage. No rain forecast, superb conditions.
High tackle here.
Yes, John Plath going high on John Lomax from the Cowboys. Just jumped up, grabbed him around the throat. Eddie Ward, no choice but to give a penalty. You just see it here. Plath looked to be going low, jumped up and grabbed him right around the collar. Nothing vicious in it, but certainly deserved a penalty against the Broncos.
Restart.
One roll back.
Duneman and Bowman.
Keep coming. Keep going.
The halves for the Cowboys. Duneman bypasses Lock. Bowman picks up Lomax, looking away on the fringes of the rucks. Back it comes for Nandruku. Tallis came across and made the tackle.
Lomax was working very wide on that last play from the Cowboys. Would have liked to see Nandruku with a chance to take his opposite number on.
Owen Cunningham, slow play the ball. Back it goes for Bowman. Now Duneman, second receiver. Shearer, quick hands. They keep the ball alive. It's gone forward. Kevin Walters has it. Renoff, away from dummy half.
Obviously under instructions from Tim Sheens to throw the footy around. A couple up the middle before they decided to throw it out one way, then back the other. But unfortunately, it wasn't part of the coach's instructions to come up with a mistake there. A bit of a forced pass.
Oh, another one round the head. That one on Andrew G, and G bounces back.
Yeah, Martin Locke apologising from the moment it happened. You see Andrew G, the dummy, and Locke slipping up as well. Well, that's very similar to John Plath. Nothing much in it, but referee Ward's done the right thing. You can't have this starting the match. If players get away with it early, it'll continue right throughout the game.
Well, a bad mistake there by Lockyer. Failing to find touch. Shearer can't get around his opposite number. Locke making up for the error with the tackle. That breeze playing, fooling Lockyer there, Russell Fairfax.
Well, it's a little bit stronger than you think. He got the ball up into the breeze and just held onto it. But what about those tackles, Terry? You're talking about them. I think there's more players out of the game right now from high shots than at any stage in the game's history.
A spate of high tackles. Duneman, Lomax. Getting over the captaincy responsibilities for the Cowboys. Shearer involved. Locke. Last tackle now for the Cowboys. Sheen said they would use the bomb. That's exactly what they do. It's a shaky old kick. It's a shocking kick.
Yes, very ordinary. Wendell Saylor waiting underneath that, expecting to get challenged, but you just see it's ended up, well, at least 6 or 7 metres over the sideline, and that is a shocker. They did some very good lead-up work there, but that's terrible. No pressure at all on Brisbane.
Yeah, that's a pretty poor kick, Terry, when you consider they've got to put pressure on Darren Lockyer. He's the second best at returning kicks. He's averaging 12 metres every time he returns a kick, so they can't afford to give him any space. They push that one to the limits, though.
Campion slips out of one, Keeps the ball alive. Great work. Making me starting to boo.
Roll clear.
Nice pass, nice backup play there from Lockyer, trying to get up for a quick play. The ball, Langer and Walters wanted out wide.
Short ball for Ranoff. Ranoff for the corner. Shearer gets in.
Good tackle, Dale Shearer.
Ball and all. Smith sailing in. No room to move. Duneman goes back. Can he get out of his own in goal? The chase is spectacular.
Well, there's a smile on Eddie Ward's face, or maybe he's just puffing from having run so far. That's a nice kick from Saylor. I'm not sure Wayne Bennett would have been pleased early in the tackle count if it hadn't have been so effective, but a great chase from him as well. Darren Smith over the top. Broncos now with another chance at 6 tackles on the attack.
Danger time here for the Cowboys. Shaky old dropout. Langer off the boot.
It's not a day for the kickers, is it? Lockyer didn't put one out from a penalty. We've already seen Duneman out on the full in general play with a bomb, and now that ordinary dropout.
G. Langer's on the short side. They come to the open. Walters off the left boot. Under pressure now, the Cowboys. Langer. Cut out ball. Lockyer. Smith. Can't get around his man. Great tackle there by Ray Mercy. Saylor out of dummy half.
He's hungry to get over that white line, isn't he? Saylor hasn't tasted a try yet in the NRL.
Short ball. Campion for Tallis. And Tallis has bombed it. They survived, but only just.
Just have a look at Shearer. He was here ready to take Tallis. That's why Tallis just trying to get over the line before he actually had it. It was there, a perfect pass. Would have been a tough one for Shearer to stop. He's already saved one, Shearer, and I guess you'd almost give him that one too. He tidied the footy up at the end.
Just look like the Broncos a bit too keen there. No depth in their running. I'm sure if they had come from a bit of depth, especially Gordon Tallis, he'd have been over untouched.
Andrew and Tallis came at him quickly. He's the man you don't want to see charging at you. Bowman, Tallis again. Good hit. The Broncos are keen. Deeth. Short ball for Locke. Nowhere to go. Walters, the counter-attack. Out of one. 30 out from the try line. Langer. Andrew G. Duneman made a good tackle with Lomax.
Thought about slipping that pass to Andrew G, but just couldn't get it out.
Lockyer. Ranoff. Ranoff away from 2. Can't get around Shearer. Well, Dale Shearer has made 5 tackles so far. 3 have saved tries. Langer. Long ball for Walters. Duneman.
Good defence too from the Cowboys, right up in the face of the Broncos, leaving them no options but to run the footy.
Campion looking to offload. Loose ball. Slack play by Brisbane. No restart of the tackle count. Short side play. Saylor back on the inside. He'll stay out of this play. Lockyer. High ball. Hancock coming across. Oh, well taken. Great work there by Josh Henne. Nandruku. Nandruku can't get away from Lockyer.
Well, great tackle, Lockyer. What about Henne's take? Here they go again, down the right-hand side. Some magic play.
Great work by Henne, just 18 years of age. This is Locke. The Cowboys.
Yeah, great take by Henne. Then he had the presence of mind to look for some support. That was the amazing thing from the youngster.
Deeth. Run. Lomax. Just took a peep.
Well, maybe just also thinking a bit ahead of himself there, Lomax. Before he had the ball, he decided he was going to step in and turn the ball back inside, but didn't lock it up. It was a glaring error after the Cowboys had turned Brisbane around. Some great defence there from the Cowboys in that last couple of sets of 6 as well. Of course, a great tackle in the end too from Lockyer to save a runaway Noah Nandruku.
Brisbane. It's out for Sailor.
Roll and go, keep
Normally
going.
when they have 3 successive sets of 6 Brisbane, they score. Cowboys did extremely well. Now Renoff. You would think a certainty for the test team announced next Sunday. Just short of the halfway line now, Brisbane. Hancock loves to go from dummy half. It's one of the reasons why.
Geez,
Handy
fairly
10 metres, Russell.
Yeah, fairly easy stuff for the Broncos. Every time they're taking the forwards, they're over the game line without any drama at all, and always they're on the backward step as the Queensland Cowboys. It's tough for them. It's just a matter of time before the backs get the ball, and you know how well the backs play for the Broncos.
Final tackle, the kick by Langer. Shearer.
It's well read from Shearer, well placed from Alan Langer into that corner there with the opposition winger. Chris Tassel had to stand up for the Cowboys and mark up on his man Wendell Sailor, so he couldn't really give too much help to Shearer. But gee, the pace is on in this game, isn't it, Russell? The play from up here, it's certainly no holds barred.
No, it's a very quick pace, but what's really surprising me is that the North Queensland Cowboys, even though they've got the wind at their back, are not kicking the football. They know that the Broncos can score 5 tries a match. That's what they've been averaging, and they can't afford to give them the football. So they're looking to run all sets of 6 or at least up into 5 and then kick. But they're spending a lot of time in their own territory.
Well, the problem is Doonerman's at halfback, and he's not their general play kicker normally. It's Jason Ferris. So don't be surprised if Dale Shearer takes over some of the kicking duties. And here he is down the right-hand side.
Final tackle. Straight to Lockyer. As Russell mentioned, so far the second best kick returner as far as yards is concerned in the competition. Now this is Brad Thorne. Webke, who was the best Bronco forward against the Gold Coast last week. Tallis wants it and gets it. Deeth makes the tackle. And by the bootlaces. Langer with that little jink. Smith. Sailor. Sailor's away down the right wing. Ankle tap. Desperation by the Cowboys. Now they're under pressure. They'll move it to the left. Langer kicks for
Oh, he's been held back.
Been held back. It should be a penalty try. Referee Eddie Ward will go to the video.
It's a penalty try anyway. Let's see if he got it.
And you heard it exactly how we called it. It would be a penalty try anyway. And I can't remember the last time we saw one.
Well, we're going to see one here if Alan Langer hasn't got it down. You see there, he was over for all money. Just off screen, he's being held back by a Cowboys player. And I think he's the first player to ground it with his left hand anyway. Great effort, Alan Langer. Everybody thought the ball was going to get shifted out to the left. In fact, all the Cowboys players thought the same, but no one at home, of course, they'd had to stop a rampaging Wendell Sailor. And there's the left hand from Langer. Definitely a try, fair and square.
Well, keep an eye on this, Langer. How quick thinking was this? Put the kick in. He was held back viciously. Ward saw it. This is good refereeing. And Langer gets the hand there. Downward pressure. It's a try. 4 points to 0, the Broncos will lead.
Well, I've seen it 3 times. I've got no doubt at all that this is the hand that placed it there from Alan Langer.
The little paw went out, the left hand. It is a definite try. We just wait on confirmation now from Barry Barnes.
Number 12. Number 12.
And I think there's been some back chat maybe in the...
As you heard me said, if he hadn't got the ball down, it was going to be a penalty try on the sticks, right? Leave the player alone. Stand up while I'm talking to you too. Leave the player alone until he gets there, right?
Well, the try has been rewarded.
Well, there's
A little bit of an anti-climax, isn't it?
a bit of trouble with the try and no try scoreboard. But Eddie Ward in no doubt, and he would have got the message down from the second referee. But certainly Langer got it down properly. Cleanly, fair and square.
So Langer, he picked up 2 tries last week against the Gold Coast. He's picked up the first one here today. And really, it was Langer at his very best. Lockyer already close to 250 career points. Kicking it around 63% throughout his career. He'd like that to be better. The Cowboys, who have hung in so well in the early stages of this game. They've lost a lot of time here between the decision by the video referee, Lockyer having trouble with the conversion. And it's happened again. The ball tumbles from the mound.
Well, Eddie Ward has blown time out once again. A bit of trouble there. It doesn't look too windy from where we are, but obviously the easterly or nor'easter that's blowing in is causing some trouble here from Darren Lockyer. Maybe he needs one of his teammates to come and put a finger on the footy to hold it there.
Great view of it, and over it goes again, like a drunken sailor.
Might be a loaded football. The Cowboys might have brought that one down with them.
Russell Fairfax. Well, breeze, has it picked up? Is there a problem with it?
Well, it hasn't picked up to a great deal, Terry, but it is gusting at certain times. There's a light breeze consistently, but there are some powerful gusts. Looks like he's got it right now, though.
Oh, the Roma boy, he's wet the sand. He's been to the beach before.
Lockyer strikes him after a fair delay. The Brisbane Broncos, they take the lead early, 6 points to 0.
Well, here's the try again. We've just seen the fullback, Dale Shearer, make the tackle, but what about the vision from Alan Langer? Just dribbles it off that right foot of his, or that left foot of his, and he gets there, and I know the referee was going to say Dale Fritz is gone if he doesn't score it, but he scores it anyway.
Scoreline 6 points to 0. Just wondering what does constitute a professional foul there. Martin Locke. In fact, it was Dale Fritz who held back Langer. The sin bin wasn't used. And the Brisbane Broncos lead by 6 points to 0. Bradthorpe. 42 out from his own. This is Webke. Been in great form.
Gee, he gets some big yards, doesn't he, Shane Webke? Johnny Plath almost gone without the football there. I don't know what he was thinking.
Shearer. Heavily involved so far. This is NA. Lockyer raced up there. Very good chase.
Good chase, got all of his players on side as well. Dale Shearer now trying to get across the field. Outside Langer, no, he can't. But they are prepared to shift the ball on early tackles. I think Tim Sheens has decided that if you just hit it straight up against Brisbane, you're really not going to get many yards forward.
Let him up, let him up.
Luke Scott is on for the North Queensland Cowboys in 16. Duneman, inside ball. So Steve Walters. He's away from dummy half. Contemplated retirement last week. Decided against that. Duneman. Off the side of the boot, the second bad kick by Duneman.
Tell you what, he's got a good eye for it. Mick Hancock must know where the sideline is. That has only gone out by about a metre, but Hancock had turned around once the ball was in mid-flight and decided that there was no way it was going to stay in. He just stops there, and you see the ball only about a metre out. But not a great kicking game now from the Cowboys, but they have the book footy back here.
There by Webke. Shearer. Owen Cunningham is there.
Bowman calling for the hit back on the left.
Exactly where they go. He kicks for himself, Bowman. Bowman. Lockyer was in great position. Tackled by Bowman.
Oh, nice play. The kick may have been a little bit too close to Lockyer, but he was there to cover it up. But good work, Paul Bowman. Got the Broncos hemmed into that corner. Now they're trying to work it out on the third play through Tallis.
Tallis straight through Brenneman. They've got him from behind. No, they haven't. Mercy gets him now. Shows no mercy.
Poor attempt there from Andrew Duneman. The arm was swinging like a windmill.
Play on for Plath. Plath for the try line. Finds Langer. And Alan Langer picks up try number 2. The second double in the space of 10 days for Alan Langer.
Well, I guess when you play the way Alan Langer does, you're going to pick up a few tries because he is always on the spot when there's a half break made. You see the ball here. Well, this was the initial bust. This is a poor attempt at tackle on Gordon Tallis. You see Durnham in the background, filled it with himself. It was only great work from Nandruka from behind that stopped that play, just wrapping the ball up as well. And it was from this tackle, from this play the ball, that you see Kevin Walters scooting out. Hancock, the little handoff, very flat that one. Langer backing up Plath. He breaks through a couple of tackles and takes off, and then finds Langer inside. Nandruka has overrun the play, and Langer just too easy for him, over next to the posts.
Alan Langer, by his standards, maybe a slow start to the year in rounds 1 and 2. He picked up the pace in 3 and 4. And now in 5, he's at his very best, isn't he, Gary?
Well, back from that off-season groin injury, played none of the trials, and you wouldn't know it. We're into round 5, and he's playing as well as he has in the last few years.
Lockyer. They now lead Brisbane by 12 points to 0.
Well, this is the end of the try where Johnny Plath looks back inside the wall for Langer. He finds him, but it's the defence of the North Queensland Cowboys that are letting them down. You know the Broncos are going to score. They've got to pick up their defences. Alan Langer makes it 2. Terry, just quickly, Andrew Doonerman's been taken off that missed tackle on Tallis, and Scott Prince is on the field, so quick change there by Tim Sheens.
Yeah, he's had an unhappy game so far, Doonerman. A couple of bad kicks. Did that come off a Bronco? The touch judge has his flag up. This will be interesting.
It did come off Alan Langer. A little mistake there. Wendell Saylor tried to bat it in before it went out, but he had his foot out, and that's why the touch judge has made that correct ruling. Saylor here scrambling to get it. He doesn't know the flag's up.
Just relax, don't rush it, wait until they're
Here's
formed.
a chance now for the Cowboys to strike back. They've been giving away starts in all of their games. Shearer. Mercy trying to get it back on the inside for Nandruku. Glenn Murphy. Scott Prince is the man replacing Doonerman. That's Prince. Lock. Bronco. They've got some numbers on the left. Bowman.
Alfie Langer with his second tackle in a row. He's fairly keen to clean up that mistake he made from the kickoff.
Shoulder there by Thorne. Final tackle. Prince. Far corner. Hancock allows it to bounce.
Well, that's
back to the 20.
That's a dangerous play from Mick Hancock. Maybe he got a call from Lockyer, Kevy Walters, who was coming across, but gee, he was in a good position to just take the ball, and the same play results. That ball could have sat straight back up and been a scramble for the a possible Cowboys try.
Webke.
Yeah, one of the rules for a fullback these days is never let the ball bounce if you can possibly catch it on the full.
It's always been a rule for them, hasn't it, Russ, even when you were playing there?
I think you're dead right, Gary.
Hancock. Touch high from Nandruku. Plath. Andrew G. Walters makes the tackle. Lomax helps out. Langer. Darren Smith is charging through. The chase is good. Smith eventually gets there and makes the tackle on Chris Tassel. Bowman.
Yeah, they need to get some forwards back there now too to try to get him out of here. I think you see Lockyer standing out wide.
Prince. Lock. Get the ball there to Glenn Murphy. Lock. Wrestled to the ground eventually there by Thorne. Shearer. Luke Scott.
Okay, roll away, let him up.
Hard work by the Cowboys getting out of their own territory. Bowman. A centre by trade playing at 5'8". Final tackle. Walters thought about the kick. Shearer. Great kick by Shearer. Super kick by Shearer. Exactly what they needed. It's 1 metre too big.
I'll tell you, that's unlucky. That has gone over 70 metres.
They'll
In fact,
take it.
over 80 metres. On the bounce, that kick from Shearer, by all rights, should have sat up, giving the Cowboys a chance to keep them in there, but still, 20-metre tap. A chance for them to stop the Broncos really getting into any attacking position in this set of 6.
You would hope.
Jim Sheens would hope, I imagine, as well. Tony Carroll now on the field. Another quite large player taking the ball up. He's capable of bending the defensive line. Tallis now tries to do just that.
Tallis just short of the halfway. This is Philip Lee. He's back from the Walters. Get around the tackle of Prince.
Very dangerous. Kevin Walters made a few half breaks already in the match. They want to stay fairly tight on him in defence.
Shearer goes back for this. Picks it up. Gets out of his own in goal. Has a wrestle. One-on-one. Wendell Silas steals it from Shearer. Troubles for the Cowboys. Smith held up over the line. In fact, maybe he gets it down. No, held up.
Well, that's a great work from Wendell Saylor. That one-on-one tackle, you could hear the thud of it when he hit Shearer, and then he's come up with the ball somehow. Smith goes from dummy half, despite a little opening. 3 or 4 players trying to stop him there, but gee, that's close. It's just landed on Chris Tassel's leg to stop the try. Of course, the Broncos now with the scrum feed, so it's a fairly good play from Smith all round. They were always going to get the football back if he was held up.
12 points to 0. And a key 6 tackles coming up. Walters ran off. Hancock on Hanno. Ran off. That ball went forward. The Cowboys have it. They survived, but only just.
Gee, some good play there. Hanno, a very good one-on-one tackle on Hancock, and Michael Hancock managed to slip a beauty out the back for Renoff. And there we see one from Lomax to Walters. Steve Walters getting fairly heavily involved already since he's been on the field.
Runs into that shoulder of Tallis. Walters. Bowman. Got the torso through the tackle.
Well read there from Kevin Walters. Bowman looked to be gone.
This is Prince. Trying to add that little bit of spark.
Just hard when you're one out. You need some support inside and out. That way the dummy can be a little bit more effective. He's just getting up there to play the ball. The Cowboys seemingly on a little bit of a roll, and he's dropped it.
Well, Scott Prince here, really. Ball security, very, very poor.
Take it back, North Queensland. Just relax.
And they're just making far
Nice
too
and
many
easy,
errors
go
at
in
this
easy,
stage,
hold it
Russell.
still. Stay in, Locks.
Gary, you're dead set right. There's no support for the North Queensland Cowboys with the ball carrier. He has no one on the inside and outside. And of course, they attract no defenders, so it's real tough to break the line when you know the ball's not going to go anywhere but stay in the ball carrier's hand. Too simple for the Broncos. They eat this for breakfast.
Well, their defensive line isn't really being stretched too much. We see Darren Smith got another ball from that scrum, nice and deep from Kevin Walters. I think he's backed himself to take on Ray Mercy as often as possible.
Here goes Lockyer. Try bound. Shearer. Another great tackle and fullback for the Cowboys. Langer to the line. Cut out ball for Tallis. Langer, will he get the hat trick? Yes, he will. 5 tries in 2 weeks. 3 today and maybe more to come.
Well, he's on fire, the little fellow. 3, and it's so early in the match. just putting Gordon Tallis through a hole and backing up. You see this is the break from Lockyer. Shearer's doing what every great fullback does, just taking the man with the ball. No dummies for him. He's saved it 3 or 4 today. But here's Langer, gives it to Tallis. This ball, the second man play. Tallis sees Langer in a hole. I thought it was Nandruku chasing. You wouldn't back him there, but certainly he's got too much pace for John Lomax. Lomax, all he could do was make sure Langer didn't take it any closer to the posts. Tallis just looking to offload. He's on fire today too. He wasn't even held in that tackle, Gordon Tallis. And Langer's doing it easy, isn't he, the little fella?
Oh, what a career he's had. The Ipswich Jets, of course, is where it all started under coach Tommy Raudonikis back in '85. Played State of Origin in '87 when they wanted to pick Laurie Spiner from the Roosters in the halfback position. They went with this little blonde bloke from Ipswich.
I remember wondering why, after we played a trial, Laurie Spina played better than Alf, and I wondered why he hadn't made the side. I can see what the selectors had in mind. He's played a couple of good games along the way in the last 10 or 12 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, a couple of good games. 27 games for Queensland, Alfie, and 20 games for his country. A couple of kangaroo tours in 90 and 94. Rothman's medalist.
Not to mention a couple of 100 games for his club. You could virtually call it his club, the Broncos. Been a real mainstay of the team for years.
Lockyer, this one looks good. Very good, in fact. And now they lead by 18 points to 0. The Broncos on fire.
Well, that's the break that Lockyer made. But watch this. Comes back on the angle, does Tallis, and just creates 2 minds for the defence. Langer backing up. The second touch of the football. Just Johnny Lomax eating his heart out. Can't get there.
Oh, Duneman is back on the park. 18 points to 0 now. They've given away leads in all their games so far, the Cowboys. But the Broncos, they're a different kettle of fish.
Well, the leads haven't quite been 18 points after 27 or 28 minutes. I think this is a little bit further out away from the lead than Tim Sheens would have liked to see at this stage of the game.
Philip Lee.
Played very well, Phil Lee, last week against the Gold Coast when he came on, as did Ben Walker, who was on the bench again today.
Great tackle by Martin Locke. He gets up. Thomas. 40 out from the try. 56 to 44, the possession so far. 29 points. Langer from dummy half kicking. Shearer. He's been pretty busy for a fullback so far as Dale Shearer.
He's done a lot of the work. Of course, he comes up into the attacking line late in the tackle count as well, but he's cleaned up beautifully at the back. 3 tries to Alan Langer. You wouldn't blame any of them on Dale Shearer. Of course, the front line defence has been a little bit suspect, but he has saved a few as well. And without him at the back, perhaps they could be losing by more at this stage.
Duneman to Locke. Langer makes the tackle. Lomax collects Langer in the process. Walters, dangerous out of dummy half. Knocked back by Saylor. No offside, says referee Eddie Ward. And they are starting to razzle-dazzle now.
Like I said before the match, I'd like to see Dale Shearer come up into 5'8", and I still say the same. They need points at this stage. Certainly they don't want Brisbane to score, but they've got a good player that can slot back at fullback in Chris Tassel, and Dale Shearer at 5'8" can conjure up a try or two, and they really need that if they're going to get anywhere near the Broncos in this game.
Webke. Tony Carroll takes on the defensive line and wins. 22 Hancock. Great offload from Hancock for Thor. Duneman makes the tackle.
Let him up, let him up. Get up, get up.
Oh, Warren comes over the top. Langer. Shot goal. Super play by Langer. He scored 3 and he set the honour. Kevin Campion, in his starting debut, scores a try.
He'd be a happy boy too, Kevin Campion. Coming in for Peter Ryan, of course, his first starting game for the Broncos. You see Langer drifting across field. The trouble is that the Cowboys' defence just sliding too quick out wide, too slow inside. You leave a bit of a hole when Langer's got 3 runners and there's a big chance that he's going to put someone through a hole. You can see there Lomax maybe just not quick enough to get across there. I think it was Bowman on the outside who just left a bit of a hole as well. Communication problem there. Langer, a beautiful ball. And Campion, well, it just opened up. So easy for him to get over that line.
He was that desperate to get up and celebrate, he virtually fell over again, Gary.
Well, no thought of bettering his position either for the kicker. He just wanted to put that ball down. Make no mistake about it.
Oh, 22 points to 0. Lockyer, 3 from 3.
You got your man of the match penciled in yet? I know we're not at half time, but he's going all right, the little number 7, isn't he?
He's going okay, isn't he?
It's going to take a good effort to nudge Alfie Langer out of that if Brisbane still score.
Cowboys desperate behind the line. Lockyer hits the upright and it goes through. They can do no wrong whatsoever, can they? 24 points to 0. Brisbane are on fire.
Well, here it goes. It goes to Langer. Lockyer runs the drift decoy, and then Campion just comes close. But if you don't deny, well, if you deny Langer space and time, he'll do this to you every time.
Doonerman with the restart. They've had a bit of practice of that. Thorne with a chance to wind up. Thorne getting across that advantage line on virtually every tackle. Philip Lee struggles to his feet. Langer, Webke. Class right across the park. Tony Carroll.
Release him, let him go, let him go.
Webke again, Lomax involved. Final tackle, back it'll go. Lockyer, caught with the ball. I think it was Philip Lee who got the kick in, but their skills are outstanding, Brisbane.
Very good effort from Phil Lee. Of course, we've got to give credit, a good set of 6 tackles there in defence from the Cowboys and really got up in Lockyer's face. Phil Lee reading that. He was ready to chase the ball downfield, in fact, and got back in a position to receive it from Lockyer and kick. So full marks to him.
Lock, Doonerman.
They need to keep working those short sides just to get some big yards. Get out of this danger zone, the Cowboys. Maybe they can put some pressure on with a kick.
Good offload by Lomax. That's Mercer.
Mercer could slip that ball to Tassel if he wanted to.
Oh, Warren goes forward, gets a handy 5 metres. Doonerman. Far corner kick. Lockyer takes it safely back to the 20. The kick really way too big.
Way too big. Had it been a metre or a couple of metres shorter would have been okay, but really they couldn't put much pressure on. These are hard to take. That ball wouldn't have appeared to Darren Lockyer until it was just about in his hands, having to look right back over his head there. So great effort from him. Now Thorne with those yardage, getting through the line once again and getting a fairly quick play the ball.
Tony Carroll. Campion. Keen as mustard.
I like the way that he runs with the footy. He doesn't tuck it up too early under his wing and make it obvious to the defence that he's going to just take them on. He holds it out in 2 hands quite often. Walters now, well read there from Doonerman. He thought he'd seen a hole behind the ruck.
Langer, change of direction. Lockyer on the left boot. Hannay, horror bounce. It's gone backwards. Andrew G has scored for Brisbane. 28 points to 0. Andrew G smiles. He doesn't get too many.
Oh, they don't really deserve this, the Cowboys. They're not playing great in defence, but they don't need luck to go against them as well. Lockyer here, all he wanted to do was kick it into that corner so they could get a good chase on. It's a very nice play. They're all onside. You see it, Hannay, who's played well so far, just beaten by that bounce. Hancock thought he had it, but just popped it backwards. And Andrew G doesn't get many, as you said, but he's quite happy to get that one. That's another one. Clock another one up for the forwards. Lockyer just playing the percentages there. But when the ball is bouncing near the end goal, you're always in with a chance. Hancock, I think that in fact may have come off his hand and then his face. Back to Andrew G for a try.
170 first grade games for Andrew G. That's his 7th try. So when we say he doesn't get too many.
Well, we'll get the video of that one and replay it over and over.
There it is, career try 7.
Well, you've got to be there to score those as well. Really, forwards, you don't expect them to be up there leading the chase along with Michael Hancock. You'd expect a centre and a 5'8" or somebody else, but the front rower was there. Good on him.
Oh, Lockyer trying to make it 30 points to 0. And that sand has been causing him some drama. Still, he's 4 from 4. Doesn't hurt him too much.
Came in with only just over 60% for the year, so this will bump the percentages up if he puts this one over as well.
Lockyer. The scoreboard now reads 3-0-0. 30 points to 0.
Well, it comes back from Langer. Lockyer obviously sees nobody at home, puts that kick through, and I reckon they should have gone to the referee here. The video referee definitely knocked forward by Hancock. Comes off his head, it bounces back, but that was a knock forward. You can't take it away from G. Good try.
Carroll on the charge. The yards have been easy, and the Cowboys are desperate for back-to-back. Sets of 6. Sailor. That's Johnny Driscoll at dummy half. His first start for Brisbane this season.
He's been apparently playing very well in the local competition, the Queensland Cup. He'd be very keen to get a lot of game time here. Of course, he broke his cheekbone and had some other problems with his face last year and missed out on the inaugural and the only Super League Grand Final. That was very disappointing for him and opened the door up for John Plath, who has played very well since.
Campion, final tackle now for Brisbane. Driscoll. Lockyer, quick hands. Andrew G.
Oh.
Intercept Mandroku. He'll be called back. The whistle had gone.
He's not going to come back. He's going to put it down anyway.
Well, not happy.
Well, the whistle had gone well and truly before he took the intercept, but nobody at home. You just see this pass here. That's when Eddie Ward blows the whistle. And Andruku takes the intercept on the next ball from Andrew G. Well, Lockyer would have been there to chase as well. That would have been interesting. They're both real speedsters. But he gave up the chase the moment he heard the referee's whistle.
Nothing going the way of the Cowboys. The scoreboard looks bad.
30-0, it is bad. It's going to be a very long afternoon if they can't arrest, stop the slide, stop the Broncos' avalanche of points, get themselves on the scoreboard next as well. Because this really will be a tough time for them to come back in the second half and show some enthusiasm.
Well, not only that, Gary, they've got to come back against the wind as well. The Broncos have a fairly strong wind, at least a 10-pointer at their back for the second half.
A bit going against them. Shearer juggles it. But possession of the football has been going against them.
Well, that's his first mistake, Dale Shearer, for the afternoon. A pretty simple one too. It didn't look very good, but he has had a big game so far. One of the only players really for the Cowboys that has been holding his own.
There it is. Langer. Short ball for Philip Lee. And
sometimes they don't really work, do they? Telegraphed that, Alan Langer. Sure, Phil Lee saw the defenders coming in too. He didn't really want it.
Sailor using his strength, and now he uses the speed. Sailor under the posts. 34-0 to Carver. An absolute try feast.
Gee, I'll tell you, when you've got wingers that come in like that, they run like a second rower, they bend the line like a front rower, and then they sprint away as a winger should. Here he goes, stepping inside of Shearer. Now you can see the cover defence coming. Tassel's no slouch. Hane's quick, but Saylor just put on the speed the moment he got into that hole and saw that he was a chance of getting to the line. Busting through the tackle there, Cunningham left on the ground. Shearer could only get one hand and try to ankle tap him, and Saylor sprinting away. It's a great sight, isn't it? If you're a Broncos fan, I expect. Not if you're a Cowboys supporter. He made it look easy in the end. Once he was in the open, there was no stopping him.
Wendell Saylor. First try for the season. He scored over 50 in his career with Brisbane. Lockyer keeps that perfect record intact. Now the scoreline, the half-time break, 36 points to 0. Alan Langer has 2 tries. Tallis and Walters, they're happy with their job so far. There's Darren Smith. 36-0, a more than a comfortable lead. We'll take a short break from ANZ. Referee Eddie Ward. Proceedings underway. Lockyer. He's been having trouble with his place kicks for most of the day, but they're 6 from 6. We are underway in the second 40 minutes. And Russell Fairfax, what was happening in the rooms?
Well, as you'd expect, Terry, not much happening in the Broncos room. Their coach, Wayne Bennett, was pretty happy with the way things going, but he wants to look for some more short passes in behind the play-the-ball area. That's the area they're going to hit in this second half. As you expect, Timmy Sheens, he wanted his players to get that out there pretty quick and get straight back into it. He was disappointed with the defence. He said to work on that. That's the big thing. No more turnovers, and if there is a turnover, get back and defend as quick as possible. It's all about pride this second half, said Tim Sheens.
Oh, Brad Thorne lining up Lomax there for a good charge. They need more of that final tackle.
And Russell, were you down there? Was Tim Sheens actually pushing them out the door to get them back on the field in the second half?
Well, I couldn't get that close when Sheens was talking, but you could sense he wanted them. He didn't want them to take a break. He wanted them back out there straight away.
Well, if nothing else as well for Brisbane, Wendell Saylor has got the confidence back that they expect of him, making half a break there. He's certainly one player with only a couple of games back under his belt that needed a run like this in some open play.
Webke, good charge. Slow play the ball. And a penalty to Brisbane. A hand in the tackle. And Lomax is the offender. They can ill afford to give away penalties like that. Well, Lomax surely must know he's going to get pinched for that.
Well, Jason Deeth had a hand in that too as well. But interesting stat. They came into this game, the Cowboys, as the best defensive team in the NRL. Only 37 points against them. Well, it's 36-0 at half-time. They've blown that stat way out the window.
Pass. Campion has 1 try. Loose ball from Campion. Langer. Inside ball for Webke, well read by the Cowboys.
That's that inside ball that Russell Fairfax was talking about. Webke almost getting through.
Langer loose ball, loses that one forward. Knock on, his first mistake, he's upset.
Yeah, pounding the football after it went down. You see here, he's just tried to slip it back to Plath, but really didn't have full control of the footy when he tried it. And a let-off there for the Cowboys. The Cowboys do not need Brisbane to score early. I tell you what, it's bad, but it's going to be just a nightmare afternoon if they don't get themselves over the try line first in the second half.
Bowman. Solid defence by Brisbane.
You heard it from the Brisbane defenders. Good hit, Campo. Kevin Campion come in with a nice tackle on Bowman, who stepped back inside into the ruck. A dangerous area for any player.
Oh, Warren plays it back. Deeth picks up Lock. Final tackle. Back it goes for Duneman. Duneman times this one nicely off the boot. Lands in the field of play. Sailor plays at it. The chase by the Cowboys was only fair. And the offload. Lockyer. Loose one for Hancock. Mandruku made the tackle with Bowden.
Well, that's the danger there. Good ball out from Sailor, but Lockyer going forward. His teammates all flat-footed. Now Smith with half a break. Yeah, the pass just really overshot the runway with the players. Michael Hancock cleaning it up. Plath now with some big yards. We've seen plenty of that in the past few weeks.
Now that was one of the things, Terry, that Coach Wayne Bennett was concerned about. The players would lose focus at such a scoreline. He impressed on them to really work on the defence. That's why you saw, I guess, that extra effort early in the second half. But he does want them to lose focus.
Walters, quick hands for Campion. Sailor upended and driven backwards. Langer, back for Lockyer. Left boot. Back for Shearer. And that ball goes dead, comes back to the 20.
Well, we saw a similar kick from Dale Shearer even further out in the first half. Something about that end, the ball just seems to kick on and run like it's running downhill. Lockyer's kicked a torpedo, looked to be okay, but it's just gone dead. Jason Deeth now with the tap restart from the 20-metre line.
Well, there'll be no doubt there'll be some downhill. It would run downhill towards a way to allow for drainage. So once the ball gets on that slope, there's no way it can stop it. We've seen 2 exhibitions already from it today.
Dale Fritz played 5/8 last week for the Cowboys. Warren back on the inside. Deeth looking for some yards out of dummy half, but no real purpose there. Duneman. Cut out ball. Bowman looking for a way through.
Standing wide, the Cowboys, but standing very flat. Bowman's pass, if he got it to Nandruka, would have almost been forward.
Final tackle, play down the short side. Duneman wraps up Hancock, but really, on the final tackle, that's just not good enough.
Well, you really need a deeper kick, don't you? I know that they're trying to come up with a try and trying to kick it for his winger, but perhaps hoist it in the air and give themselves some opportunity to get a lucky try. They just need to get some more pressure on Brisbane, who have had virtually to do no defence on their own try line for this match.
Big Brad Thorne skips out of that one by Warren. They have made ground out of their own territory in great fashion. Langer. Short ball for Webke. Lomax slow to his feet. Tallis. Walters. Shearer. Waits for it. Now, the chase is on by Brisbane. Shearer can't get around Renoff. Hannay. Tassel. 61-39 possession.
Surprising Steve Renoff coming into the play with a tackle there. They've scored 6 tries, and he's had a relatively quiet match. There's been so much football, or so many breaks made early in the tackle count by Brisbane that really the centres haven't had too many opportunities. Let's remember he's leading the try scoring in the competition, equal leader at 6.
Well, great hands on the inside by Lomax, but Mercy just threw the ball to nobody.
Well, where's his winger? He's looking for Chris Tassel, who's not there. He'd in fact gone inside. Lomax with a little flick out the back. Mercy takes it, expects him to be there. Well, I guess 99 times out of 100 he would be there, but Tassel had already gone chasing it inside, and nothing going right for the Cowboys. Another handling error from them.
Lockyer, who packed in at lock. Smith. Shearer up in the line. Andrew G. G through the first line. Desperation tackle by Cunningham. Hancock out of dummy half. That ball went forward. Duneman. The Cowboys with a chance. They need to quick play the ball. Duneman again. Desperation by Tass. Duneman. Mercy. So close to losing the ball. Martin Locke out the back. Deeth has dropped it. Langer's come up with it. Tallis. Kevin Walters. Walters for the corner. Kevin Walters, the first try of the second half. And the massacre continues at ANZ. The Broncos bustle their way now to 40 points to 0.
Well, too many mistakes in the first half was the Cowboys' demise, and it's happened again in this second half. Langer pouncing on a loose ball. Tallis half through a hole, just gives it to Walters, and too much pace he's got for Cunningham. You see Shearer coming across, was really never going to get there. His only chance would be to knock the ball out, but Kevin Walters too cagey for that to happen. There it goes from Thorne to Tallis in a big hole. Cunningham hanging on. He chases Walters as well. It's a good effort from him, but just not enough pace to stop him. And Shearer late there, a late arrival, was never going to stop Kevin Walters from scoring. The crowd favourite, or one of them, Kevin Walters here, just streaking away. They don't look like 30-year-old legs. He's still fairly quick. That's his first try for the afternoon.
65 career tries for Kevin Walters. Another player, like Langer, who started his career at Ipswich, up to Canberra. And he's never looked back. Lockett, full of concentration. The left boot has been working perfectly today. It continues to do so. The flags go up again, and that scoreline a further embarrassment. 42 to 0.
Well, North Queensland are guilty of doing one of the things you can't do. You can't switch off once there's a turnover. Tassel, he just offloads to Walters, and he's got the pace to get there. It was a sprint, no drama. He gets down, touches down easy as they come late for him.
Oh, Doonerman must feel like this is an action replay, Gary. The restart.
He's done a couple this afternoon, hasn't he? And what about this runaway train? Webke straight
Oh!
into the line.
Straight up into him, Webke.
Dale Fritz bouncing out of that.
Sailor.
I can tell you, Terry, that Steve Renoff's off the field. Ben Walker's on in his place.
Brad Thorne. Deeth went a touch high.
Almost a penalty there. Thorne trying to get up for a quick play. The ball, a little bit of leniency shown there.
Numbers! Tallis has players on the inside, runs away. Hancock, that came off Doonerman. Play on should be the call. Lockyer, this is where the Broncos look their best. And then they do that.
Well, I'd say perhaps Jason Deeth knows Lockyer's nickname there because he got the ball as clean as could be straight from Lockyer into his hands, and he was the only player standing in the way of another Broncos try. 5 or 6 players out to the right, and as Russell Fairfax just said, it's broken play. You don't go to sleep on Brisbane.
Mercy plays it back. Thorne has been outstanding. Doonerman standing shallow. Bowman, Mandruku. Header, just 18 years of age. Final tackle. High ball from Doonerman. The chase is on. Lockyer flew high and took it. It'll be a dropout. He did his best to stay in the field.
Well, he did a great job there of latching onto that football. In fact, the Cowboys, it was a good effort from them to actually get him over the line. Kyle Warren with some help from Deeth and a few other players over the top there. Glenn Murphy, I think it was, just pushed him back in the end goal. He had a case for telling the referee that he'd actually grounded it and had been held in the field of play, but Eddie Ward's ruled a drop kick from underneath his posts.
Doonerman, it's the halfway line. Luke Scott.
Well, I spoke to Tim Sheens a few weeks ago after they beat Parramatta, who said Things aren't really as good as they look on paper for the Cowboys. Sure, they'd won 3 and made it 4 last week. They had a lot of things to iron out. Well, I'll tell you what, there'll be some soul-searching at this club during the week after this demolition attack from the Brisbane Broncos this afternoon.
Cole Warren, waste of a tackle. Duneman shows it, looking for the man on the inside. Deeth was there, he just couldn't get the ball to him. Warren, Shearer. Little chip kick there by Fritz. Lockyer, drop out again. That's better pressure.
That's great pressure there from the Cowboys. A beautiful little kick through from Warren and a chase there. You see Fritz coming as well. Lockyer, one thing he does very well, he'll always take a chance to get himself out of the in goal but if there's any pressure at all, any drama, he plays the safe option. And that's what he's there for, not to throw a stupid pass. There was a chance he could have tried to slip the ball out the back to a Broncos support player, but...
That's a knock-on. That is a knock-on from Duneman. And he propelled the ball towards the try line, even though he was facing the opposite direction.
Oh, well, he's facing perfectly for any fullback or winger. That's where you face, so you can knock it backwards, but somehow he threw it over, or lost it over the shoulder, and you see the look on his face. It's one of those afternoons. 9 handling errors for the Cowboys, 5 to Brisbane, and it must seem like 90 to coach Tim Sheens, because every time they've made a mistake, they virtually had to pay for it within 6 tackles.
As Driscoll, 17, the player who forced Kerrod Walters to Adelaide last season. That pass went forward. Walker. Bowman makes the tackle. 42-0. Philip Lee.
And you see the support Phil Lee had inside and outside, and that's what puts the defence in 2 minds. Plenty of Cowboys defenders there, but he still almost got through.
Andrew G. Final tackle now. Langer, Lockyer, quick hands. Philip Lee, he strolls over the try line, untouched. They couldn't get a hand on him. 46 points to 0. Maybe they should declare.
Maybe they'd like to declare, but it's not going to happen. Still plenty of time and still plenty of hungry Broncos out there. The second man play, beautiful short hands to Lockyer. Plath knew that all he had to do was turn his back and slip the ball out, and they had numbers out wide. Phil Lee accepts the pass to go over. Kevin Walters runs the decoy. Quick hands from Lockyer. Plath stands in the Nandruku tackle, and Lee's over. Dale Shearer didn't even bother to cover. He was over the line before any cover defence could get there.
I touched on this pass, Gary. I had a question mark on it, and it was forward. You'll probably debate it floated forward.
Well, it's, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter now, does it? They've scored only a couple of tackles later, and some great play there. Phil Lee, as I said before, played very well last week. And it's a battle for any young player to get themselves into this side, and Phil Lee's putting a lot of pressure on. He's not the biggest forward in the pack, but he certainly comes very good off the bench.
Lockyer keeps that perfect record intact. 48 points to 0, ANZ.
Well, any one of these 3 guys could have scored the try as we get set for the kickers. Well, there it is, a little short pass. Plath was the man, and there the receiver was Philip Lee, just in the right place at the right time.
Short restart. Walters. Driscoll was up to the mark. Philip Lee, the try scorer. Good offload. Driscoll again. His debut, he's been playing in the Queensland Cup. Nice player to have coming back into the side. John Driscoll, where he is a dummy half. Short side.
I guess John Driscoll would be very disappointed by the fact that he hasn't been mentioned. And this would have been a great opportunity for him to find himself in the Queensland side, but having not played much football and John Plath's form being so good, Jamie Goddard comes into the equation. Jason Hetherington at the Bulldogs. Here's a chase from Tony Carroll out wide.
Tassel did well.
Did Tassel touch the football is the question. No, he's just shepherded it over. And Eddie Ward has ruled that they get a 20-metre trap. Carroll putting a lot of pressure on.
Fine. Good ruling. Once again, though, they'll be forced to work it out of their own territory. Deep. Driscoll desperate to make the tackle along with Langer. Duneman. Shearer. Steve Walters. 7 yards. Long pass for Duneman. Back on the inside for Warren. Final tackle. Allowed to run. Druku was up there to make the tackle on Sailor.
And I can tell you that Sailor is playing fullback. Darren Lockyer has been given a spell for the ball.
Hancock out of one. Around two. They eventually get him. Carroll driven back in the tackle. Tallis wants it. Thorne takes it.
Tell you what,
makes the tackle.
He's really stood out, Brad Thorne, along with his other second-row partner, Gordon Tallis, today. Must come into calculations, those two players, if form is any guide to the selectors. The first test, selected next Sunday night.
Huge kick here by Langer over the top of Hannay. Is it a 40-20 kick? It's still in the field of play now. It comes to rest right on the touchline.
Well, he's trying, Hannay, isn't he? Alfie Langer is connected with that one. And you can just see that it was going to bounce out just inside the 20-metre line, so Hannay taps it in, but, well, the football, as they tend to do, the odd bounce has got it back over the sideline, and Brisbane now have the scrum feed. They've just got to keep their heads up, haven't they, Russell?
Well, that's going to be the longest kick of Alfie Langer's life. Let's face it, he never kicks the ball that far ever. But what, I mean, the luck is with the Broncos, and that's the way they play this football match. They want to be leading comfortably 48-0.
Walters. And Druku there. Sailor involved. Ran off. Over the top, loose ball. The Cowboys survive again.
They do. Tony Carroll has hurt himself diving for that football. Bit of a blow, as has one of the Cowboys players. So a double whammy there and a very simple play.
Swinging arm there from Webke. He'll be called out. He might even be put on report. Just a penalty.
So Kevin Walters tackle earlier on. We're going to see this play that led to a couple of injuries out there. Renoff slips the ball. Renoff slips it around. Walker slips over. That's where Tony Carroll has hurt his shoulder. And I think it's Bowman as well that stayed down for the Cowboys. Well, he's up, but he doesn't look real good.
To have dislocated the shoulder, maybe.
He's had a lot of injury problems, including shoulder problems over the years, Tony Carroll. But he's a tough customer. Of course, he's battling for his position out there with the Broncos. Get as much time on the field as he can.
But gee, you've got to think about the scoreline at 48 points nil. You bring one of your players up that's got an injury. I'm surprised he's even out there now.
Murphy. Final tackle for the Cowboys. They haven't troubled the scorer so far in this game. That ball bounces nice. Sailor. Sailor stood up Nandruku. He trampled another Cowboy and took another one for a ride.
Gee, you don't go too high on him, do you? There is another Cowboys player down hurt after that attempt or that tackle on Wendell Sailor. Gee, he's busting the line now, isn't he? Looks like a maybe.
Could be Chris Tassel down injured.
I thought perhaps it was Jason Deeth. It is, in fact, Jason Deeth. Blood coming from his mouth. He'll have to go off. Or was it from his nose? Did you hear? See Sailor just taking it through the line there. Bowman can't hold on. You just see him here. Deeth, in fact, comes in fairly high. That's not the way to tackle Wendell Sailor, I suggest, but he hasn't ended up too good after that one.
What about Sailor, though? Doesn't he want an Australian jumper real bad? I mean, his performance in this game has just had Australian jumper written all over it.
It's going to be hard to fit them all in, Russell. That's the problem.
Well, he'll be one you'd have to put in for sure.
Shearer. Doesn't matter what happens with that team, there will be great controversy next Sunday night. Nandruku, Shearer. Back it goes for Walters. Thorne makes the tackle. Shearer. He's going to dive on that ball that Cowboys still have. Warren. It's his third game of the season, plays it back. Locke. Flings it out the back. They're absolutely going nowhere, the Cowboys. Shearer. Durnham. Off the right boot. Runs right in the shoulder there of Campy. It's a good performance by Brisbane. They really have kept the foot to the floor. Kick by Prince. Scott Prince. Awkward bounce for Sailor.
Well, he was waiting for it, Wendell Sailor. He probably should have attacked it. The ball just couldn't get there in time. In the end, he really had to reach out. A nice little kick from Prince. Sailor waiting. You see him, he comes across. And in the end, he's had to go forward to the football to clean it up.
Smith. Philip Lee. Into space. Just taken on the halfway line by Durnham. Langer will take them forward.
Oh, good hit on Langer there. Luke Scott. Darren Lockyer getting ready to come back on the field.
Final tackle, Walters. They'll keep it alive. Campion can't get rid of it. It'll be a turnover. 48 points to go. From memory, the record winning margin for the Broncos is against North Queensland.
Yeah, they beat them very well up there last year. Apart from that 20-all draw in round 11. But I'm not sure that 48 was as much as 48-0.
Well, I can tell you the record score against North Queensland, 58-14 at ANZ Stadium, April the 21st.
1996.
That's right.
You're on the ball, boys. 58 is not out of the reach of the Broncos. We see Walters now with
Walters. Oh, desperate tackle by Prince. Ran off. Sailor. Walters. They have had just so much ball. Driscoll. G. Driscoll looking to impress. It's Tony Carroll. He seems to have bounced back after that shoulder injury. Langer to the line. Smith. Smith back for Lockyer. Lockyer ran off. Reaches out and gets them. They have broken the half-century barrier. 52-0, courtesy of Renoff.
Well, you'd expect him to be on the try scorers list when you're winning by this much. Renoff has now gone to the lead of the try scorers for the NRL. You see Smith across field, a great run from him, a ball back inside to Lockyer who dummies, then hands it to Renoff. Ben Walker would have thought he was over here, but Shearer had taken him out, so Renoff just made the lunge himself. Langer is the man with the ball. Dummy runner before Smith gets it inside to Lockyer, who just handed it back off to Renoff. Went to pass it to Walker, had no choice other than to go over himself. And that's 7 for the season for Renoff, and there'll be plenty more to come.
Lockyer, just time. He had to sum things up, and Renoff He also had options, Gary, but thought, I'm here.
Scott Prince hanging on for what would have seemed like minutes before Renouf put the ball over the line.
Well, they're getting a bit tougher now for Lockyer, aren't they? 8 from 8. Cowboys behind the line. Waved away his first miss of the day. He's done an outstanding job. The scoreline, 52 points to 0 at ANZ.
I'm sure Tim Sheen's instructions at half-time at 36-0. There's Big Gene Miles. He'd be enjoying this afternoon, wishing him perhaps he was out there.
Short kick-off. And Renouf was there. And even the things they try, it mix things up, paying off for the Cowboys. G.
As long as they keep trying something, they really, it's so easy for a team to just shut up shop and get ready for the trip home, but some of the Cowboys are still trying very hard. Of course, they've just been outclassed here this afternoon totally by Brisbane.
Carroll. Campion. He's had a big game, hasn't he, Campion? Good offload for Walker. Final tackle. Langer. Campion, obstruction. They did everything they can to go with them.
Yeah, you just see Campion there taking the ball and stepping behind Langer. Scott Prince was the Cowboys defender that was impeded. A good decision from Eddie Ward, who's had a fairly good game this afternoon.
Well, the Broncos aren't about to complain.
No, definitely not.
Whitehead. 10.5 minutes to go. Walters. Doonerman. Change of direction. Prince. Flung to the ground there by Plath. Glenn Murphy out of dummy half.
Tim Sheen's biggest problem for the last season or so has been in the halves, having a good half and 5-8 combination. That seemed to be coming together with Doonerman and Ferris, but of course, Jason Ferris out Doonerman to halfback. It hasn't really worked, has it?
Prince. High ball. Now, this is a good kick, but the chase was poor. Lockyer under no real pressure. Took it safely. As you expect. It's a good game as Lockyer. The battle for that #1 jumper in the green and gold between Lockyer, O'Davis, Brasher. It's a tough call. Three good players.
It is a tough call. Davis and Lockyer seem to have the front running at the moment. They've got some options, and you know, I'd have Lockyer there and O'Davis on the wing, but we've already heard Russell Fairfax say that Saylor has to be there. What about young Matty Rogers, who's been in sensational form? There are so many players. We're only up to the fullback and winger so far.
We haven't got past #2.
Yeah, Robbie Davis is a good player, but he's not the winger that Wendell Sadler is, let me tell you.
High ball from Langer. Shearer crossed the ground and took it well.
Offside called from Eddie Ward. Dale Shearer now stretching there. I hope he hasn't done a hamstring. He's a class player, isn't he, Shearer? I think he's been very good this afternoon. It's similar to those bombs we've seen from the Cowboys, just not enough. The kick just too deep to be able to put any pressure on by the chasers.
Shearer now with his 6th club in his 14th season. Mercy. Walters. Through Doonerman. Cut-out ball for Prince. Murphy.
Murphy's got a couple of players outside him with only Michael Hancock to beat. I think he would have passed that footy then.
Prince plays it quickly. Walters. Looking for his options, but the runners, the angles, weren't there. Josh Hannay. Good boy for 18. Doonerman. Warren. 35 metres out. Final tackle. Good pressure by Brisbane. Cunningham. Lockyer stood his ground and took it well.
Well, that's better pressure. Owen Cunningham, the man who had to make the kick in the end. A good bomb it was with Dale Shearer bearing down on Lockyer. Shearer almost had that in his hands too. Great effort from both number ones. Lockyer winning out that time.
Smith. Rated by Coach Wayne Bennett, who's in the top 4 or 5 defenders in the game. Loose ball. Game. A roughhouse affair now.
That long ball from Alf, just a little bit too far out in front of Renouf, who had a Cowboys defender right in front of him before he could take it. Made a couple of errors, Alan Langer, but otherwise it's been a class display from him.
Second nose in, watch in, hold it steady.
You take a look at the Broncos. You take a look at the Broncos outfit. I don't think there's been a poor performer at all, right across the board. Even the replacements that have come on have played extremely well.
The buck the horse. Nandruku.
Gee, we haven't seen Nandruku with the football much, have we, this afternoon? That's got to be, when you've got a class player like him out wide who can create something and he's not getting the football, I guess you're really not giving it players every opportunity.
Duneman. Warren has tried hard.
There's the hit back now through Walters and Duneman.
There's Nandruku. Driven back in that tackle by Walker. Walters. Shearer. Duneman. Long ball now. Chance. They can't get the ball free. Luke Scott wrapped up in the tackle by Renouf. Down the short side. Duneman. Chance. They score eventually. Josh Henne, the teenager, goes over. Too little. Too late. Far, far too late.
You don't think they'll come back from here, Terry? You're a brave man. Duneman with the ball out wide. They've just got numbers here. Alfie Langer has in fact come in and should have stayed out. And Henne with one man to beat and Tassel outside of him. You see the ball from Duneman. Well, Langer had to actually stay in. He had a runner in tight. The Broncos should have been up and sliding and not coming in on that play. Hancock nowhere to go. Just the weight of numbers out wide for the Cowboys has finally got them on the scoreboard. Might make the trip home a little bit easier, at least for Josh Henne.
Oh, Josh Henne, as I mentioned, just 18 years of age. His second try of the season from 3 games. And he's out to try and convert his own try. 52-4. In that record score for Brisbane, it's 58-14 against North Queensland back in '96. Referee Eddie Ward. Blows time back on. Henne, who was involved in that controversy when he was selected, and then 2 seasons ago when he was deemed too young.
At 16, well, he's shown there have been some good judges.
So there he is. Alan Langer smiling behind the line. Having a look at the clock. It's about the only time that the Broncos haven't looked dangerous when they gathered behind their own in goal. Henne, left boot, shaves the post, waved away. And 52 points to 4 the scoreline. Another look at the clock. Inside the final 4 minutes. 52-4. Very good afternoon in the office for the Broncos. Fritz. And Drukel. Carroll comes over the top. Doonerman for Shearer. Driven back by Plath. He's a great competitor is John. Cunningham, the former Manly back rower. Luke Scott. Run by Luke Scott.
Steve Walters has had a very good afternoon, hasn't he, since he's been on. He's tried extremely hard for the Cowboys and looked like he's got a bit of that hunger back that was lacking when he decided a few weeks ago to have a think about his future. Sailor now with some fancy footwork beats Mercy and gains another 5 or 6 metres.
Gary, you're dead right about Steve Walters. He's been the mainstay of this forward pack for the North Queensland Cowboys. Without him, they'd be doing it a lot tougher, let me tell you. He's been great in there, done some solid work, and he's given them a few options in attack. Stevie Walters has been great today. I don't believe he'll be facing retirement next time they pick the side.
Philip Lee. Big game off the bench. Walker. Walker's now. He'll win the race to the line. He gets a double. Kevin Walters, 56-4. Get the calculator out.
Well, some smiles all around there from the Broncos. He has a little side bet with Alfie Langer as to number of tries they're going to score in the season. And it looked like Alfred had him gone at 3, but beautiful play there from Philip Lee. Back to Walker. Kevin Walters backing up, 30 metres out, looking around to see if there's any speedsters chasing. And there really weren't until he got close to the line. Good play there from Lee. Looks outside, dummies. Through one, soft tackle. Another one there from Doonerman. Stands, finds Walker inside. Beautiful hands from Walker. Just a little flick over the shoulder. And Walters, well, he knew from when he was about 10 metres away there was no stopping him. Still smiling. Good on you, Kevy.
66 career tries. Langer has given the final pass for many of them. And Lockyer, 8 from 9. In the fullback position, many believe he's a better 5/8. Which is a big rap because he's a hell of a fullback. Strikes that one nicely. 9 from 10. 56-4. What a day Brisbane have had. One of their very best. 58-4 now the scoreline. Short kickoff. Well taken. Well read there. Here's Driscoll.
Well, here's the countdown that the Cowboys would have been waiting for since well before half-time, I imagine. Hasn't been their day at all.
Nick Carroll. The dying seconds. Final tackle. Sailor chases. Shearer. He'll take the tackle. The match is all over. The pain is over for the Cowboys. The tries eventually stop for Brisbane. 58 points to 4. A record score for the Brisbane Broncos. Previous best 58-14 against the Cowboys. This one 58-4.